Son podcast with yours truly, Joel. I've always wanted to be introduced. Welcome. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, how's everything going? I don't really I've been really busy, so I don't really have a lot to talk about. Um just doing this just like I did last night, or was it 2 nights ago? I can't remember. I think it was last night. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of see what's going on X, and I've been busy, really busy, and I'm taking a break this upcoming week. I'm gonna take a break and not work on any music related things. So if you're on here on YouTube or X or whatever, I'm got my chat ready for YouTube. I guess I could pull up on X to see if anybody's gonna comment on there. I don't really get how to. Oh, Zoe Carter liked my shout out to Zoe Carter liked my post. That I think this is going on right now. Yeah, 9/20/11/16. Today is yep. So I am currently on my phone on the X comment thread, and the Steam Lab or Stream Lab or whatever it's called, Streamlabs desktop, I have the YouTube chat going on. So if anybody wants to say, "Hey, you guys suck," or I guess there's not two guys here, but yeah, just let me know if hypothetically I am doing a horrible job or if I'm doing a great job. Zoe Carter, shout out to you. I'm kind of confused. I got 3 views. I just started, but this is on X. YouTube, of course, I'm shadow banned or whatever you want to call it, so I'm just kind of hanging out. Anyways, so let's scroll through. Yeah, so this is kind of a questionable thing, and obviously this is kind of a sensitive topic, but what do you guys think about the Pentagon type situation? They got one camera, and I never thought about this when I was younger, but they have one camera in the entire like situation of the Pentagon, one of the most like I don't know, camera ridden places in the country or the world where there's like a million cameras probably everywhere, and they only have this one camera to show. I mean, I haven't seen any other views. Has anybody else seen any other views? I'm just asking questions. I'm not insinuating anything. It's just kind of suspicious that this is the only camera. And this is just my theory. This is just my opinion. Take it, leave it. I don't care. I mean, comment whatever your opinion or thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get a couple likes. Zoe, you're awesome, but I'm sure that there could be more people that could take the reins on the liking situation. But anyways, my guess is that it wasn't an entire plane like this, and they wanted to tell a story, so they put a lot of like we called it in the Marines, we called it the boneyard for aircraft that were getting decommissioned and taken apart, part by part. Maybe they would, have good parts. It's kind of like, a wrecker. You ever go to like where you go to the junkyard and you pick out like, oh, that door looks great. The whole entire car is completely total, but you pick out little parts from the car and then you put it on your car and it's cheaper than going to the dealership or whatever. So you it's win-win. The landfill makes money, you save money by not having to purchase a brand new door or whatever. But there's a version of this. It's called the aircraft boneyard or whatever. I remember they were talking about how they would fly, sorties out there, not sorties. They would fly little jets back and forth from, dropping off jets and picking up different things and different parts and stuff like that. And I have a feeling, and this is just like I said, this is a very sensitive topic or whatever, but I have a feeling that they threw a missile at the Pentagon and there's aircraft pieces laying all around and this is kind of proof that something hit the Pentagon. And the fact that it only hit that one wall where there's minimal damage, and I get that it's structured and, reinforced and all that stuff, but I don't know. It just kind of makes me think that it's a little JFK-ish. I don't know. Was it a magic bullet? I don't know. And the fact that there's only one camera. Are you kidding me? They didn't have a camera over here, or this one parking lot that's distorted a little bit to where you can't make out anything. Of course, we can see Pluto literally with precision, type of, like pixels are perfect and everything, but we can't see something that's on our Earth right now. It's the same thing like the Charlie Kirk situation or anything else. It's like, how do we have all this technology and we don't apply it to the things that really matter the most? This would be great. Unless, and this is just a conspiracy theory, I'm walking into the whole Sam, world over here, but unless they quote unquote don't want you to see, they just want you to see but not really see, if you catch my drift. So I'm just throwing that out there. This just popped up, and this is why I do this, because I mean, sometimes you just scroll through this and you're just like, I know. But since I'm on here, it's kind of fun to, just kind of comment on certain things that are going on. They actually still show this. You won't believe this actually happened until you see it. The whole cocking the arm thing, I've never understood it. I get it that it's funny, but at the same time, it's just like, I think it's more funnier that everybody's making a big deal out of it. I wouldn't have never even made a big deal out of it. I saw the movie, it was great. And him doing that was just like, okay, cool. He looks aggressive or whatever, but everybody making a big deal out of it. I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of funny, but moving on. I don't know. All right. So anything else going on in the world today? Oh, there's Edward Snowden. He's still doing things. It's funny that he's still got his same mission, that he had prior to leaving the country and all that stuff. He still, gets on these little podcasts, or, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast one time, and he does these little interviews, and oh, this is what's going on. They're spying on you and all that stuff, and nothing's changed. Nobody cares. Like, thanks for the information. What are we gonna do about it? Oh, nothing, because nobody cares. It's like we care, but not enough to, go and protest. We'll protest, BLM, and protest, like Trump is no kings and all this other stuff. But when it comes to like Edward Snowden, like blowing the whistle and saying the government is listening and watching everything that you do and all that stuff, no big deal. Like, the big deal that we should be protesting and actually like raising eyebrow at. We just like the one guy leaves the country so he doesn't like go to jail forever or whatever. I guess that he would be disappeared or whatever you want to call it. But it's just like nobody cares. I mean, it's just like, well, thanks for the knowledge. I guess we'll just move on with our day. Oh, that's too funny. There's my famous cat videos. I love me some cats that are just out of control. That was a good movie. I think that was underrated. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Mad Max? I like the Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, I think, has improved as an actor, as watching like, movies, from way back when, and, going more current times. He's just elevated himself, to be more of a presence when he's on screen. All right. Oh, there's JD Vance in his meme situation. Oh, so he and I guess Gavin Newsom are having a little feud right now, because there's always this California situation going on with JD Vance. So it's the governor press office backfires at JD Vance. Oh my gosh. This is just too weird. I don't even have to like watch the video to know like how crazy it would be. So you drive a Tesla, my Tesla drives me. Okay, so on to the Tesla news. I canceled my FSD. Wah wah wah, Elon. I'm sorry, buddy, but I canceled my FSD. One, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm hardly driving that thing anyways. I'm probably well under my allotted lease mileage. So I'm just like, okay, I hardly drive it anyways because I'm hardly here. And also, why am I paying $100 for something? One, I can do myself. Two, I get it, it's convenience, you know. I mean, like I said, it's very convenient to, but the thing that I don't like so much is that it's not fully autonomous. I can't just take a nap. I can't play on my phone without it nagging at me 20 million times. Oh, you're on your phone. Oh, you got to shake the wheel and all that stuff. And the fact, like I said, the biggest thing that pissed me off the most was the streamers and the creativity guys or whatever you want to call it got that update, and all our, like, we're peasants. I got a Tesla. I got involved into the Tesla migration or whatever just a couple months ago. And this is how you treat me? Okay, cool. I'll just get off the FSD. That really did drive me over the edge or whatever. I mean, granted, it's $100 a month, and that is not a cheap penny to, afford every month just for a little bit of convenience. But, what really drove me nuts was the whole update. So I'm sorry, Elon. I know that, you want my money and all that stuff, and, you want to become a trillionaire and all that, but sorry, you're not going to get it from me. I mean, I'm already giving you money from, other things that I'm giving you with the Tesla, but at least not $100 more. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to be driving my Tesla instead of it driving me. All right. Oh, no, let's not watch any more of that just in case I were to get demonetized, even though I'm not monetized yet. Let's see. Oh yeah, why is the clutch and I know that Sam drives his clutch or whatever, but I kind of miss, driving a clutch and, being able to drive. They act like this is some big deal or whatever, but I don't know. What is Trump going on? Trump defends Tucker. He said good things about me. Yeah. Like, I don't know why, but it's so obvious. And I think that they live in a bubble, but will you let me finish my statement? They would never do that to Biden or Harris or anybody else. Like, it's so gross. Like, it's one thing when the president, is controversial in regards to a policy or a situation, and it's a high stress situation, but they do this to him all the time. All the time. They just sit there and interrupt him and they act like they're above him. And it's just like, it's disrespectful. He's your authority, he's your leader, and you're just treating him like he's just like a piece of crap, and it's just like, well, maybe, you interrupting him makes you look like the piece of crap. He's just trying to do his job, whether you like him or not. I mean, you got to respect him. I mean, Sam has said this all the time, but, he didn't respect Biden, but he still said, yeah, he's president, whatever. But anyways, moving on. I just don't like the way the media, I can't watch the media anymore. It's just, other than just to watch a clip to laugh at it, but whatever. Yeah, I get too many Tesla crap. I don't care anymore. This was one of my favorite movies right here. What's the last show or movie that made you audibly gasp? Why would that movie make you gasp? I don't know. It wasn't that kind of movie. Biden Harris forklifts to open. Oh yeah, that was a thing, and nobody wanted to admit that. I really don't understand why that was even like how we could even take that seriously. I don't know. Comment below. I mean, do you like Trump's like open border versus closed border situation? Biden Harris versus, Trump's closed border situation. I don't know. I like the idea that we have our own country and we let people in, you know, organized rather than that chaos that, was happening. It was just a little ridiculous. And congratulations to Jeff Bezos. I mean, like I said, He's not my top guy or whatever you want to call it. He just seems a little standoffish. He's kind of like a Bill Gates kind of situation where he doesn't really have that kind of like persona that you could, like relatable, that you can kind of hang out with and all that. But Elon just seems like, he's more he all those guys in that realm, when you're Jeff Bezos or Elon and all that stuff. I mean, you don't have to talk to the public, but Elon probably isn't an outgoing person, but he tries. Jeff Bezos doesn't even feel like he even tries. He's so like distant from the public or whatever. I mean, he could do whatever he wants to, but when you're talking about Elon, he's always out there. He's always giving interviews. He's always on podcasts. He's always, on X saying stuff. And Jeff Bezos is just kind of like, hey, I just got a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. And he's just kind of like, hey, I'm doing my own thing. So he's just a little less relatable. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I've kind of noticed that over the years. All right. I spent time with Elon Musk, and regardless of your opinion, he's a phenomenal entrepreneur. He handles his time himself, refusing bureaucracy. He knows exactly how much time to spend on each thing and guards it. And that's the truth. It really is kind of one of those things that you only get 24 hours in a day, just like everybody else. And it's what you do with your time all day that really defines you as a person. I mean, obviously, you have to go to work or you have to sleep or you have to do certain things to kind of manage your life. But it just feels like a lot of people are, especially if I'm in the dating world, I've had this happen so many times. I hate it so much. It drives me nuts. So I'll get to talking to a girl on Bumble Match, whatever platform. It doesn't really matter. They're all the same. But I'll get to talking to a girl and I'll be like, "Oh, this sounds great. Let's hang out and let's get some coffee or, let's go out and hang out with each other or whatever." "Oh, I don't have time." "Oh, I'm going on vacation," or, I get the vacation was probably pre-planned, so I can't really use that as a, kind of a scapegoat or anything, but the fact that she is completely just absorbed into her world that she doesn't have any time to meet. I mean, you're getting on a dating site to meet a guy, or, in my case, meet a girl, whatever. It doesn't really matter who you're trying to meet. If you don't make the time, then why the heck are you on that site in the first place? It's just a tease. Oh, let's just, chat on, and my biggest complaint also is like I'll get on there and I'll get one message a day. It's really odd. It's no more, no less. It's weird. I only get one message a day and I'm like, why can't we just talk like human beings and message back and forth and get kind of a good vibe, good spark, and see what happens from that rather than one message a day? Not much meeting someone, but just a message. It's it's a low bar just to, like I just want to see how things are going to go. That's all I'm asking for, whether we work out or not. That's to be determined. But if you message me one time a day, how the heck am I supposed to gauge, or how are you supposed to gauge if you're a good fit for me? I don't know what's going on in what the girls are drinking. I really don't get it. I've been on dating sites for, a decade now. And, I've had my little ups and downs by moving to Colorado, moving back to Texas, and it's kind of jumbled up everything. And then I lost my job right after my divorce, and, all that things are been fixed, but I have been pretty stable for the last couple years. And to get on dating sites, I've tried to go to a church, and it just feels awkward going there. I can't meet someone at a library. That just feels creepy. Or, like everybody's busy at Walmart. Like, where the heck are you supposed to meet someone? Oh, online dating, where, you got a lot of people that just don't know how to interact in real life. Oh, fun. So I don't want this to be like a dating podcast 101 or anything. I don't want to go, woe is me or anything. It's just girls. I just wanna know, like, what the heck is going on with you girls? You know, it's just like, it's not just one girl. I could just complain at, this one girl that did this, a couple of years ago or, no, this is as recent as just a couple of weeks ago. And like, I've been matching with girls and I think it was Allison or one of them, it's just like, I'll get a message and I'm like, oh, this is my one message for the day. I have to respond back with something intriguing so I can get a response back. It's just like, why do I have to put that much stress and effort? Why can't I just be me and just be real instead of having to feel like walking on eggshells? Like, is she gonna like me or not? Like, why does this got to be such a high like stress environment? I don't know. I hate the one message crap, It's just like I'm so used to having that fluid conversation where I ask a question that spider webs to a couple different questions and then we have a conversation. That's how it's supposed to go. I don't know. Woe is me and wah wah wah, smallest violin, whatever you want to say. But it's it's just been a thing for these last couple of years, and it's just like I think it's something in the water that the girls are drinking. I don't know. It drives me nuts. Like I said, I'm not expecting every girl to like fit, perfectly, with my personality, my history, and all these other like things that make a couple great. I get it that, some people just do not belong together. But if you don't like at least message and attempt to like figure out me and I figure out her kind of thing, how the heck are we supposed to know? It drives me nuts so much. I'm sorry. I have to ventilate some of this because I mean Sam has heard this a million times. I try to just mute it or try to just shut up about it because I'm sure he's tired of hearing about it. But it's just I just had to get that off my chest because I can't take it anymore. Some of this is just it's just gotten to the point where nobody cares anymore. It's just peak level stupidity. Nobody cares about intimacy or, like caring and, like empathy, all these things that make a couple, care about each other. It just feels like, okay, like girls come at it, I think, guarded because they've been screwed over by other guys and all that. And of course, if you have that perception that everybody's just out there to screw you, then you're not going to meet anybody because you can't give them a chance. I'm sorry, that's just that's just way what I believe is happening is that girls get screwed over so many times and they go, "Oh, there's another guy that's just about to screw me over again," and I'm just like, "Well, if you have that perspective, then you're not going to beat anybody." And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm in left field, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Anyways, I'm going to move on to a different topic because how long can I talk about dating and girls before everybody just signs off, even though no one's here? My bedtime reminder just kicked in. I'm sitting here like, well, I guess I'll go to bed pretty soon, but oh, what happened? I hate it when X does this. It'll like, I'll be reading something and it'll just like randomly update, and then whatever I was reading or trying to get into is completely gone. Has anybody else comment below? Has anybody else had that type of situation where you're reading something and then all of a sudden X and its infamous, wisdom will just update out of the blue and then just completely like disappear what you were reading. It's so frustrating. I've done this so many times where I'll be like reading a, article or I'll be reading like a long post and I'm like It just disappeared. No more. Brad Pitt. Oh, there's the space. I am now in sleep focus mode, so I probably won't get any alerts anymore. I don't know. It's supposed to be set at 10, but let me see. I am live. Yep, there I am. 13 people have imp- been impressed. Let's see what the other one did. 15. So I'm already at my from last night. That's cool. If you're there, just comment. Like I see someone hanging out or whatever. I don't know. It just says one like, and I think that's the Zoe person. It's probably a bot. All right. So a Marine Corps ball. Yep. A civilian picked a fight with a Marine because people are stupid. Oh, this was Dana White says Dylan Banis is banned from ever attending any UFC event. The entire Muslim Brotherhood was here tonight in the first 5 rows for Islam. You will never see Dylan Danis at a UFC. Wow. I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess we could watch the interview. I don't think that's copyrighted. I don't know. Is this coming through? I don't think that this is connected to. I don't know if this is connected. I don't think it is. So you're probably not going to be able to hear it. I could connect it, but I don't plan on throwing any other clips up. Wow. Interesting. I don't know who that is. I don't know much about Islam and all that. And the problem is you probably didn't even hear any of that interview, but it's Jack Posobiec. So we meet again, old friend. That's so awful. Oh, that's so awful. And I'm laughing. It's one of those things that you can't help but laugh. I don't know what Tucker has said or anybody want to comment like what Tucker is going through. I know he's got opinions just like everybody else, but apparently he's pissed off some people. We shouldn't cancel Tucker. I don't know. I don't really care. A lot of this stuff, I'm just like, I just want to see if anything big is going on. I could talk, like I said, I could talk about dating all night long if you really want me to, but you got to comment. I wonder if this post will be copyrighted because my last one was, and I didn't even put anything on there. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I love Greg. There we go. Follow Greg at this account right here. It's too great. He posts some of the most original stuff, and it's greatness. So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and he's got Sydney Sweeney. You followed this account since 2025. May I meet you? Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know what's going on with Greg and and all that. I think that he kind of accepts this fate of never being able to meet Sydney Sweeney, but oh my gosh, Greg. Let's see if there's a Greg update going on. He's got his hot dog. He used to have I think it was the Mona Lisa, at the Last Supper. And I guess he's changed it to a hot dog now. I miss that painting. Arby's needs to change their slogan to "May I meet you." Oh, there it is. That is Greg on in his original form. Arby's needs to change their slogan to "May I meet you." Oh, that is so good. I don't know much about Pokemon, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's see what else. Hey, Trump, it's Greg. I know you're busy, but can you please make crypto go up ASAP? Because I'm on the verge of crying and throwing up and need you to do something quick. Oh, no. He's made some of the most funniest posts, and people will tag him, and, it's so funny. So follow this guy. He's definitely a recommendation of the RUTS podcast because Sam enjoys them too. This makes no sense. Yes, Greg. This makes no sense. After 232 years, the US Mint has made the last penny. This makes no sense. Does it? Oh, Stephen Sweeney's daughter, by the way. I don't get that. Aurel shot on my iPhone. He's got the moon in there. Oh. Well, oh no. Okay, we'll read this. My greatest fear finally happened while in the handicap stall. I guess that is true because of all the times you ever go to the bathroom, the handicap stall is humongous, obviously. And you never see any handicapped people. I mean, good, the less people that are handicapped, the better. But, fortunately, there's never been, a guy walking in. Obviously, I'm a guy, so I'm in the guy's bathroom. But, you never really see much the wheelchair action in a handicap bathroom. I think the worst is going into a hotel that me and Sam stay at all the time, and we get it, assigned to these hotel rooms with handicap rooms, and it's horrible because it's just designed differently and stuff, and granted, I'm not one to complain, too much, but it's kind of obnoxious because it's just like everything is at a different height. The shower stalls have all these handles. The bathroom is just built like a tank, not the bathroom, but the toilet. And then you've got like everything is just different. And I don't know why I guess they just want to fill that room. I get it if the hotel is fully booked and there's like a concert or some kind of volleyball, event or something, of that nature. But it's just so often that me and Sam will check into a hotel. Oh, you got a hotel, a handicap room. Oh, it's such a drag every time that it happens. All right, let's get off away from Greg. Greg is great, but you got to follow him and check him out for yourself. Let's see. Yeah, I grew up and this was kind of like my time for getting my first cell phone. And I remember that these were number 9 was super popular. Everybody and their mom had a number 9. Everybody loved those Nokias, and that was the cool phone to get. I think my first phone was one of these where you had a keypad, you had that little flip that covered up the keypad, and you had that retractable where you pull out the antenna. And then I jumped from that to one of these, a number 12. I never really got into the razors. I know that they were really popular, but I remember having these flip phones where they had a color little display on on the front, and then you flip it open and you have your little keypad that you'd have to type a million letters to text. And then obviously the iPhone came out. But m- my earliest, and my dad never wanted to get me a phone when I was like 16 or 17. He was just like, "Oh, you don't need one." And then I bought one myself with my limited amount of funds when I was 16. And it was like a prepaid cell phone kind of thing. I barely used it cuz I didn't really know anybody or whatever. Oh, that's Dan. When I was in elementary school, I learned about a shape called a rhombus, and that was the last time I ever heard that name ever again. It's true. Some of these words never get used. Like, you never use the word rhombus. And then, the math teachers will talk about it, and that'll be the end of it. Oh, this is Toy Story. He's living the dream. Planet Pizza. That would be a pretty cool thing to like drive on a Friday night kind of thing. He's just enjoying life. He's got the truck. He's got the everything kind of designed to make it look like the Toy Story situation. That would be pretty sick. I would love one of those. But it would take a lot of effort and a lot of money and a lot of everything to it just wouldn't be worth it. All right. So Michael Jordan and LeBron. Seen that. Hmm. Anybody want to chat? This is your last chance. I'm getting to that point where I start getting restless and not much to talk about. I would love nothing more than to get a chat right now. Keep me on here, keep me excited. Who else supports switching the George Floyd statues for the Charlie Kirk? Personally, I never really followed Charlie Kirk. I mean, obviously it's tragic what happened with him, but I mean, I still want to know like what the heck happened. I think it's kind of ridiculous that we celebrated I think it was all manufactured propaganda and all that stuff with the whole George Floyd thing. But one thing that I've noticed is nobody's really talking about it anymore. And I knew that this was going to happen at first. It was going to be this huge, like everybody was making videos about what happened and, what could have happened and, Tyler Robinson this, and nobody's ever talking about it anymore. And it's kind of sad that, it did happen, but hopefully there will be justice for Charlie Kirk, and we'll find out some truth, which is highly unlikely because the people that did this want to keep it secret. Kind of like a JFK type situation. I mean, we really did live through a JFK. I mean, he's obviously not the president or anything, but still, he was a well known figure. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't seen too much about the Avengers. I think they really died out after the end game. I mean, I watched I think the Spider-Man movie right after the Avengers end game, but I kind of died out after that. I mean, this was kind of like the finale of what I wanted to get out of the Avengers superhero stuff, and I feel like the majority of the population felt the same way because it didn't help the Marvel people, Kevin Feige or whatever his name is. It didn't really help the cause that they put out trash movies. I mean, they made Spider-Man, which was a decent movie. It wasn't. I mean, it was kind of a teen movie, and I'm not really into those movies anymore as much as I used to be. I've kind of grown out of that phase, but really after that, I just kind of stopped watching. And I think a lot of people also stopped watching, and you don't really hear about Marvel stuff anymore. And then even if they'll throw out these shows or these movies, everybody just makes fun of it on the internet. we we're kind of in this like in between. Like there's no universe, there's no like franchise, or I mean John Wick was kind of good with Ballerina, but I mean, I don't know if there's any other movies coming out other than maybe another John Wick, maybe eventually. I don't know what. I think a lot of people are asking for the Impossible Task. That would be a cool movie. John Wick trying to, get out before, he met his wife Helen. That would be a really interesting movie. I would always I think there's the comic books. Um I remember I guess watching a podcast. They have a podcast, not a podcast, but a YouTube show that had the guy reading the comic books on YouTube so you could, listen to the story. I hate these kind of posts right here where it says, "Wow, Mike Benz just dropped a wild bombshell on Joe Rogan's podcast." He hasn't been on recently. I follow Joe Rogan's podcast. He hasn't been on for probably months. He just now did it. No, he didn't. He did that months ago. Oh, this face is just too much. Just shut up, please. You don't even have to. I've never heard a word out of this interview. I don't need to. That face says it all right there. You look at that face and you're just like, okay, you're ridiculous. Shut up, please. I've had enough. And that's exactly her face right there. You're not getting anything out of her. Like you want something out of her, you're not gonna get it because she's had enough of your bull crap. That's basically that face right there. Like I said, I don't even know much about what's going on. I know that they've made memes about this face right here, but it's too hysterical that these people, the interviewer, one of the two roles, is trying to get something out of Sydney Sweeney, and she's just like, "Just shut up, please." And she's just kind of got that like, "Look, just move on." If you're gonna say something about trans women are women and trans men are men and all this other stuff, and it's just like she doesn't believe it, then why go down that road? Like, I'm sorry, she's not taking any notice or any approach whatsoever, and you're gonna try to get a gotcha moment out of her. She got you with just a face. That's how bad it was. I don't know who this, interviewer was, that was asking her questions, but if you knew Sydney Sweeney's, approach, and I don't know her at all. Like, I don't follow her. I don't care. I mean, she's hot, whatever. Who cares? I don't care. Life goes on. But you have to know your interviewer, or interviewee. You have to know her positions on politics, or, what she's all about and what the interview is about, or whatever you want to call it. And for a fact that she was trying to get that like gotcha moment or whatever, and she just got a face. Like Trump would always make these gotcha moments with words. Sydney Sweeney does it with faces. Oh, it's so great. I love it. I love it so much. Funny how body positive died as soon as Ozempic hit the shelves. Yeah, there's something going on. Look at this. Look at this. Ugh. So much weirdness going on in this one photo. Like, nobody ever talks about it. It's healthy to be, big and, brave and all that. And it's just like, no, your heart has to pump more blood and then it wears itself out faster. Like, you guys really just don't get it. A lot of people like to talk, but they don't really make sense. It's like, what was that one movie? I hear your words just talking, but I don't understand a word you're saying or whatever. I think it was Jim Carrey. I don't remember. I think it was Will Smith actually. Yeah. It will always be me. That's how I grew up. I mean, before the insanity of like this weird whatever phase we're in with weirdness going on. Oh yeah, I guess I need to scroll up so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I never heard happy holidays ever. Not one time growing up did I ever hear happy holidays. Maybe I'd hear it every now and then and I just it was just kind of random and I always, 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 no matter who it was, Democrat, Republican, it didn't matter who you were in the 90s or early 2000s, it was always Merry Christmas. Never offensive. Never anybody that was like, oh, well, you're a Republican because you say Merry Christmas. It was never like that. It's like someone drew the line in the sand in one instance. I think happened at Obama. George Bush, it was kind of like, back and forth, it's just business as usual. But I think Obama really just opened the floodgates to like weird craziness. It divided our country. That's just my personal opinion. Comment below if you believe that Obama separated this country and made it into the country that it is right now, where nobody likes anybody. I mean, if you're a Republican, you hate Democrats. If you're a Democrat, you hate Republicans. And, there's no moderates anymore because, it's like Joe Rogan or Elon Musk or whatever. And they're like, I was a Democrat all my life, but now I'm a Republican, because it's just the left is just insane or whatever. They've said that plenty of times before. But I have to believe that, like it was just like Obama was like the birth of all this weird craziness that the left is just ridiculously like on like Elon said in Joe Rogan's podcast, he said you have to get a not a microscope, but a telescope to see, how far the left has gone, like crazyville or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's insane. It's insane how like the country just like divided so much that we can't even like, just agree on just like I don't know, just simple things. Just being able to just hang out and relax. If you bring up Democrat, Republican, I mean, you hate the guy now. I don't know what more to say. I just hate that, our country is the way it is. Yeah, we could disagree about like abortion or tax or, anything like that, but it just feels like there's a competition. And I mean, it's the government shutdown kind of situation. It's like, the Democrats have an ideology, they have their like way of doing politics, and it's so far removed from what a Republican, is. And it's just like the Republicans now are like center left, in decades ago kind of thing, because the Republicans have moved left, and it's just like I don't know. I find it so annoying that, people just can't be moderates, and just kind of like, hey, we do have opinions. We can't get along on certain issues, but we at least get along as personal people. And I just don't like the way that our country is just so divided right now. I guess Tom Cruise got his like Oscar nominee or something. Jeez, that's a lot of violence. I don't want to. And of course, more violence. All right. Well, I don't think that there's anything really going on. I think I would have found it. Let me refresh it one more time. Yeah, I don't think that there's really a lot going on. Speak of it, Obama. I never really liked him. I just thought he was too smug. And then you have her that always sits there and tries to talk, and it's just like nothing makes any sense. That's the one thing, looking at this picture right here and just seeing what we're capable of. And I remember, I think I had a conversation with Sam about this. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was someone else. I think it was with Sam. But, it's so sad that we have like imagination, creativity, and all that stuff to, build these like stealth fighters and, rockets and that can go in space and the moon and Mars and all this other stuff. But we can't figure out cell phone service, in the middle of Oklahoma. We can't figure out, you know, dropped calls type situation where we still don't have that figured out. We have to build cell towers. And I know that Elon's working overtime to, get Starlink to work and all that stuff. But what would be amazing is if we didn't have red tape in America. And this is one of those things that really drives me nuts about this country is the fact that other countries can get things done because they don't have red tape. They don't have the government like watching literally. I mean, yeah, China is probably a bad example, but it just feels like America has all these regulations, all these controls, all these like things, and they can't even run themselves. I mean, you just saw the government shut down, and you're just sitting here just like, okay, really, you guys are going to complain about me trying to come up with an invention? And Sam was saying something about like, yeah, you could come up with this technology that would be renewable energy, but you can't, invent it because you would get disappeared or whatever you want to call it. So it's like one of those things that like we have like people that can come up with this kind of stuff, but because of greedy, stupid idiots, we can't manufacture it because God forbid the oil people lose their money. And it's so ridiculous. Like humanity can go so far if America or this country or this world would just let human being scientists and all these people get away from politics or get away from this red tape, all the FDA and all the pharmaceutical bull crap and all that stuff. I mean, it just feels like cancer could be cured. Renewable energy, enough of this global warming crap, and we can get away from oil and we could, live a more happier and neutral life versus all this, like carbon emissions crap and all that. I feel like we're holding ourselves back. It's kind of like you've got your your hands tied behind your back and you got a blindfold on and you don't have to be. That's the way humanity, it just feels like humanity can't progress because of each other. It's just so frustrating to see that we can come up with certain inventions. We can come up with a stealth bomber. We can come up with a rocket, but we can't come up with things that would actually improve livelihoods, like the homeless crisis or the drug crisis. And it's like, like certain things like the marijuana is like not legal because the FDA would, and this is derived from Sam's conversation, but it does make sense that the FDA does not want marijuana to become legal because the FDA would lose all its pharmaceutical money because, you could just chill and cure a lot of pain, and, you wouldn't need it from synthetic, pills and prescriptions and all that. It makes sense. And this is what I'm trying to say is like humanity is taking away all the natural, like, herbs and, plants that's naturally occurring that you could just kind of like get some medical treatment. Instead, you have to take the synthetic prescription that will give you cancer so you can take 20 other pills, a couple months, 6 months, years later down the road. That's the whole point. And it's so frustrating that this is just one example that I feel like goes down that rabbit hole of like, why can't we progress as human beings and get to that next, chapter or level, evolution, whatever? We go from horse carriage to cars and all that. Where's our next one? We feel like we've been stuck in this same, like, we drive a car, like, when are we gonna drive a spaceship or anything like that? Like, what is our next move? Like, Elon can't do it himself. I know he's trying, but it just feels like the government has this like tight grip around anybody that wants to progress humanity or, the world or whatever. It's just like, I know the technologies out there that we could come up with renewable energy. We could do so much more. I know that AI is on its way, but apparently that I got approved from the shadow government or whatever you want to call it. I don't understand how AI can get released into the public or whatever you want to call it with Grok and Chat GPT and all these other things. But certain things like renewable energy, certain guys come up with it and then they get disappeared and they get a payout, so they never invent it. That's what I'm trying to say is like nothing makes any sense in this world. I used to hear it all the time, question everything, and I really didn't have any questions. I mean, I was always, like into history or into certain things, but the more I grew up, into out of my 20s into the 30s and so forth, I started questioning, certain things that just didn't make any sense. The first one being, like what I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast, which was 9/11. And at first I just believed in it. It was just so horrific when it happened. I mean, I just didn't know what else to believe. I mean, I just believed everything that was on the TV, and whether it's true or not or whatever, it's beyond the pale of the scope or anything. But it's so frustrating that these media people will say whatever they need to say to get their paycheck, and they're taken care of, and might just be just a lie, or it might be gaslighting, or whatever. And it's just, I just don't know what to believe anymore. It's so frustrating to live in a country that you're just like, I just got to go to work and get my mind off of it because I just don't care anymore. It's really that frustrating. Instead, I grew up, just believing everything because I was just this naive person. But now I guess I've kind of gotten to a point where I just don't care anymore. I've seen it all. I've seen Trump. I've seen Biden. I've seen Harris. I've seen, Obama. I've seen George Bush, and I've just seen so many presidents and what they say and what they stand for. And it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I just want someone that is going to take control. And, even Trump, I have my own complaints with him as much as I had with Biden. I'm fair game. That's why I like to say I lean Republican, but I'm more of a moderate. I just want someone to just make sense. And obviously, no one on the left makes any freaking sense. I don't understand where they're going in their party. I don't even understand how they're even a party right now. None of the, are people really that stupid? I don't get. why that party exists. It's for the lunatics, I think. I really don't get it. Republicans are at least, somewhat manageable, but they've got their skeletons in their closet too. And that's what I'm trying to say is I don't really want to ascribe to anybody, but do I align with more of the right than the left? Yes, by far. By far. At least the right tries. The left it just openly just is stupid. I just don't get it. Hey, comment, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just this stupid idiot on the screen right now. I mean, if anybody's watching, I would love nothing more than to get someone to comment, like, and subscribe and do all that fun stuff because I'm about to get off of here and I'll go back to my hotel videos coming up this week. I know Sam's been really busy working on his end. He's got a family, so he can't just get on with me, on this podcast. I still got this chair open for him, got the headphones. Obviously, I hid the mic just so it wasn't a weird thing in the screen. But yeah, he's always available. I did that didn't make any sense. He's always um what's the word I'm coming for? Anyways, that I guess I'm losing my mind. I'm getting tired. I think that this is the perfect opportunity to get off the line because I just surpassed the 1 hour mark and I haven't added any viewers or any likes or subscribes, and I just feel like I'm talking to the wall anyways. So I will bid everybody adieu, and I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Like I, I will say this again, just to reiterate. Upcoming schedule is no different. Sam's gonna do his own videos in the hotel rooms or wherever he's gonna do it. I think he said that he bought this like dash cam like thing where you could like put the suction thing on the window, which is kind of cool. He offered to buy me one. I was just like, I don't feel like making videos, while I'm on my way. I don't. I like to chill. I don't like to, do videos. I might do a video. Maybe I have a little phone mount, so I could do a video if I really wanted to. But he's gonna do a video. He's gonna do his own thing. Like I said, I don't have any control over what he says or doesn't say, or what attitude, or chill, relax, or conspiracy theory or whatever. It's just whatever he wants to talk about. Same thing goes for me. I'm gonna talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about, and sometimes I'm very boring. Like tonight, I literally just scrolled X and talked about certain things that are kind of interesting. Um, I will go back to my hotel type, format where I'll be talking about, certain discussions or topics or whatever you want to call it. I think, while I'm in this podcast room, it's super easy to just scroll on X and just talk about, and plethora of things, anything that's going on in the world or, my thoughts on certain, like dating came out of nowhere. I don't even know where that even came from. Um but yeah, I'm still in the process, like I said earlier, I'm still in the process of, trying to sketch out this, new comedy show. I think it'd be really fun. So stay tuned for that, even though no one's watching. Woe is me, right? I just hope that, eventually we can, build a community and all that. It's still, my joy and hope that that's why I do this. Even though I'm talking to no one, I'm hoping that, someone will get on here eventually and it will be the most magical thing to actually like, have a, internet family or whatever you want to call it. So that's why I do this. I think that this is, something that interests me. I love music. Don't get me wrong. I love being in that podcast room. I mean, in that music studio. I'm in the podcast room. Um, but I need to get my mind off of music, and this is the greatest ventilation to get my mind off of it and get my mind off of work, get my mind off of anything that's going on in my mind, and this is my focus. So this is a great way to channel a lot of like the stress of doing everything else. And I could just come in here and just relax under the sun and, talk about anything that's going on. And I'm just, like I said, it would be great to add some family members, some friends, and some people to hang out with. So get on here and chat with me. Chat with Sam. I mean, like I said, there's two different personalities. He's like, like the complete opposite personality than I am. I don't know how we get along. It's always been a wonder in my mind. It's always been a question. Like, how do we get along? I don't know. But somehow we get along and we have completely different personalities. So personality A, you go with that person, personality B, go with that person or whatever. Maybe watch both of us because you can handle both of our personalities, whatever. But I like to do more of a chill approach, more of a, kind of like hangout vibe or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes I get a little rowdy with, a couple topics like the dating. I was getting a little frustrated. But Sam, he likes to go full steam ahead. Like I said, I need to watch some of his shows just to see, how he's doing over there. But I plan on doing it. I promise you, Sam. If you're watching this, I plan on watching it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been so like my problem is I've been so focused on music that I have muted literally everything else out of my life. And I'm trying to get to this upcoming week, and I'm just gonna clear my head because I think I've been pushing myself too far into music that it's driving me crazy. And so this is my declaration is that I'm going to be more level balanced with my time rather than spending 100% and driving myself insane and crazy with music. I'm going to, maybe go 50-50 or 50-60 or, whatever, kind of balance that. I still get to work on my music, but that's not the only thing that I do. I still want to be productive, but at the same time, I still want to work on my music. It's just one of those things. So, like I've said before, if there's nothing else going on in the world, which I don't think that there's going to be. Wow, this is U.S. in trouble. Ford CEO can't find 5,000 mechanics for $120,000 job. That's a lot of money for a mechanic. Dude, I should have been a mechanic. I'll tell my son to become a mechanic. He can make this $120,000 job. Problem is to work at, you know, this type of platform, he's probably looking for experience and year plus kind of thing. Anyways, oh, let's okay, so this is a dating thing. 40 record 40% of young women want to flee US. Is that true? I don't know. I honestly don't know what to believe. And it just seems a little much. I don't think that there are that many people wanting to leave from one gender. I don't. They look identical in some respects. I mean, blonde, obviously you got the long elongated head. They just they both look similar. Anyways, I'm gonna get off of here. Have a good night, guys, or good day whenever you're watching this. But take it easy, and I will be not live, and probably I'll be live next weekend. But I'll be on some videos in this upcoming week, starting tomorrow night. I'll throw a video up on there, and I'll try to come up with some good, interesting topics and keep this conversation going.